Hey, what is up, guys? Flex Media here, bringing you yet another video on Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. And the weekend was up, and Super Battle Road was up, so you know that your boy had to try some no-item runs. Honestly, they're just fun. You know, it presents a nice challenge, especially on some of these older stages that just really are, you know, with the plethora of units you have to choose from nowadays, like, they really are easy. And I don't mean easy to, like, you new players. Like, whenever I'm talking about stuff like that, you know, or Battlefield or whatever, like, I'm talking about to older players, right? So if you were around when these first, well, when the first 10, or if you were around when the first 10 stages were around, then bravo. But if you were around when the next 10 came out, and you were a newer player, like, they were insanely challenging. What makes them so hard is that, you know, at any point in the battle, you have type disadvantage. So in the first 10, like, if, let's say, you're running Super Int, your enemies are always going to be Extreme Tech, right? So that's just how it works. You're running the versus Extreme Tech Super Battle Road. But when you're in, you know, for instance, this one's Hybrid Saiyans, like right now we have 2 AGLs, an Int, an STR, and a Fizz, right? So there's a lot of units that are going to have type disadvantage. So, you know, there are certain points where you possibly have to break up your rotation just to be able to get that guard ability active, and defend a little better. So that's kind of what makes it so challenging. But I will say, we did have a couple saving graces in this fight. So just kind of to start out with, the big gun, they're not on the screen right now, but the big gun, LR, Gohan, and Goten. I'm running a double LR, Gohan, and Goten. And we got supered there before he got a chance to super, so he took a lot of damage, but it happens, right? Again, one of those things that just happens in Super Battle Road. But anyway, LR, Gohan, and Goten. So they are just insanely powerful. They get attack, defense, and ki every time they attack, and that's not just super attacks. So they can potentially attack 3 times in a turn. They get additionally, so they start out with 59% attack and defense. They can get 10 attacks total to build up their full passive, which realistically is like 3 turns in a lot of circumstances if they're getting 3 attacks every time. Well, possibly 4 turns, I guess. You guys get it, though. You can do math. I can't do math. You can do math. But anyway, so attack, defense, and ki. 10% attack and defense to be exact, and then 1 ki per attack, up to 10 times. Except ki is up to 5, I believe. So not insanely overpowered with the ki. That is the one place they struggle, is with ki. So that's why I decided to bring the support Gohan, right? So look at that, 4.74 in Super Battle Road. Now, we do have their, you know, best possible linking partner on the team with them, but it just still goes to show, man, that is insane, dude. And they're not nearly fully built up yet. I believe this is the only turn, or the second time this Gohan and Goten have been on rotation. And then, of course, you know, this Goten is getting support right there as well, right? They're all 3 of those units are on movie heroes, so that was obviously very helpful. But LR, Gohan, and Goten, I mean, honestly, they really don't even need an introduction. There are some points in this fight where it just gets to this point of insanity, right? They're just so strong. So what happened there? So this Gohan and Icarus unit, if you fall below 30% HP, you then get a full heal. That's right, a full heal when they're on rotation, which is why I thought it was a no-brainer. And then plus, they get 200% attack, and then, of course, they do get that chance to stun as well. So that was obviously really cool. So they do different things when they're in different slots. So right off the bat, they're getting ki +1 and then attack and defense 120%. So that's pretty solid, right? Now, keep in mind that they are a banner unit. So, you know, they're not going to have the most insanely crazy stats, but they still, as you saw, can hit fairly hard. But in slot 1, they're going to get an additional ki 3. And this is going to be on super attack, so keep that in mind. So you're not going to see them starting off with all this ki, but it's going to be on super attack, right? They're going to get ki 3, and then a high chance of evading enemies' attack, and then a 30% increase in their attack. And then in the second slot, he's going to get a medium chance to evade enemy's attack, and then key 1 and attack plus 10%. And if you're running them in that third slot, they don't get anything additional, but just keep in mind, you'll always have that chance if you fall below 30% to get an additional attack 200%. And then that big attack is a guaranteed crit. So they're obviously going to do like insane, crazy amounts of damage. I think we ended up, getting a 1.66 million attack stat or somewhere in that range. But really why I brought them, yes, they do have that little bit of a chance to dodge when they're in the different slots. And then their passive in general, like they get a rare chance to dodge. So it's not like it's great, but it's something, right? So even in that third slot, they will have a chance to dodge. But really, it was just the heal. That's why I brought him for sure. This Goten here that you have on rotation, he is a Movie Heroes unit. So obviously a very, very nice addition to the Movie Heroes team. That Goten, of the 3 family Kamehameha units, like he is far and away the best. So he gets a little 3-turn stack of his defense on super attack, obviously. So that's really cool in something like Super Battle Road, because in Super Battle Road, it doesn't matter if you are an infinite stacker, right? Because you don't have infinite turns. Okay, so yeah, that hurt. That hurt a lot. So what I'm hoping at this point is we're able to stifle them enough and possibly take down one of these characters to maybe last for another 2 turns. So we're going to get, next turn, we're going to have, I believe, we have LRB Pan. That might be the turn after. So, but what I'm hoping is that we're able to amass enough healing to get us through for 3 more turns until this Gohan and Icarus get back on rotation. So right now, in the fight, I'm not feeling really, really good about this, but this was huge right there. So that was a big chunk of healing to get us over 100,000 HP. So 100,000 on this team is quite significant, right? So, something that I do like to mention in my videos, especially when I'm running Super Battle Road, is this 170% defense versus 170% HP sort of debate that goes on. So this double LR Gohan and Goten team, I find like this is a really, really good mix. Like this is the mix that, so like for instance, the new Last Resort category, this is essentially the exact leader skill they have. So what it is 170% attack, and then 150% to defense and HP, which I really, really like. I like it a lot. And then obviously, so it's a little different for Goku's family. I think instead of 150%, they're getting, I believe it's attack 170, defense, and HP 130. I think that's what it is for the Goku's family portion of the leader skill. But just something to keep in mind. So like in a short burst event, like Super Battle Road, where you're generally not going any more than, let's say, 4 turns. That's usually about the maximum. Sometimes, in some battles, you go a little bit longer. But I find it much more valuable to have defense. And I'm sorry, shout out to The Truth. Like, I love him. He's my boy, man. Like, he's a big influence to this channel. But he's all about this 170% HP, and I think that's great in the Legendary Goku event. So when you're in the Legendary Goku event, you don't need an additional 80% defense because you've got 100 units that stack, or you've got a bunch of really, really strong units. But I don't know, man. In the short burst events, I would much rather take less damage on normal attacks. I find it much more valuable, and I really do think it is just like, sort of an agree to disagree thing. I don't want to go on and on and on about it because at the end of the day, it's just preference. But I do find that, it does need to be pointed out. LRB Pan with the very, very clutch heal right there, that was huge, right? So when B-Pan supers, she heals us for roughly 151,800 HP. So tack that on to the 95,000 existing HP that we had. So we had a grand total of roughly 246,800 HP, and we just got hit for 216,000. So we had, a little under, estimated, right? So a little under, or right at about 30,000 HP left. So we were definitely damn near close to death. If B-Pan does not get the crit there, we definitely don't make it to the next turn. So it was just, anyway, it just ended up being very, very clutch, just the way everything happened, because as you saw, there was the big attack buff right there, like 1.66 million. So no support or anything on rotation, but when we have just Raditz left now, we were able to take down Vegeta. It's like, at this point, I already knew that we were going to be able to no-item this run, because the next run is not bad at all, considering we were also able to stall the Dokkan attack until the very last stage, which is ideally what you'd like to do. You just, I knew, right? It was just like everything was becoming crystal clear. And obviously we're going to go into the next stage with damn near full health unless we get supered, and we do not get supered. And I'm really, really hoping that LR Gohan and Goten are just able to, you know, go off, right? So that, you know, and luckily all they needed was an additional and a normal, and we were able to take down Raditz, the weakest of all Saiyans. And here we go on to the third round. Now, we have not talked about every single unit on here. I would like to point out that we talked a little bit about that movie hero support unit. They are the absolute best linking partner for LR Gohan and Goten, and obviously they're pretty valuable in Super Battle Road. So obviously providing this massive support to LR Gohan and Goten. They do share the one key link that LR Gohan and Goten have in Golden Warrior. They're also sharing Super Saiyan and Blazing Battle, which is, of course, significant, right? You know, it's really hard to get that Blazing Battle link to activate, but, like, when you're running LR Gohan and Goten at their best... Oh, thank you, Paragus. they can't be touched. I mean, honestly, they're so insanely good. You know, just look at what they're able to do. Like, this is turn 1, and then we can kind of get a good look at their attack stat here in the bottom left on their icon. I mean, that's just huge, right? On turn 1, and just like, that is because of the support unit. So on top of all those things I already mentioned, they are providing support to movie heroes. So that would be key 2, and then attack and defense 40%, and we get a massive shot on Paragus. Somehow he survives. And then also, if you're up against a movie boss's ally or enemy, which we are here, as you can see, they got an additional 100% attack and defense, so they were able to put up over a 1 million attack stat. So obviously they're really, really good, right? And then plus they're lowering attack. Very nice dodge there. I think I ended up giving mine. I think I gave them full dodge or close to full dodge. I just thought that it would be the most, you know, useful, well, use of them, right? Them being able to dodge. So that movie hero support, man, if you ever pull them unfeatured on a banner, like, they are so effing good, especially if you have LR Gohan and Goten. And then also, you know, coming out soon, and I do plan on going somewhat ham, I mean ham for me anyway, coming out soon is the Spirit Bomb Absorb Goku. He is actually on the movie heroes category, so that's gonna be huge for that category. You know, that unit is just so insanely good. I need to make a video on them. There's so many goddamn videos to make. It's just sometimes hard to keep up, right? So, but that Spirit Bomb Absorb Goku is coming soon on a double rates banner. He is the main featured LR on a double rates banner. So keep in mind that is still a 1 in 12 chance if you get a featured animation to pull him. So it's still not great odds to pull him, but, you know, hey, obviously double the rates of pulling him, essentially. So, but we are about to wrap up the video here, guys. I mean, as you can see, I think the true MVP, like, far and away, was the LR Gohan and Goten, followed up closely probably by this movie hero support and LR B-Pan. You know, they're all good. All of these units are good, and I think it should be noted that I didn't bring a Trunks on this team for the reason of just keeping Gohan a support unit, the future Gohan. I find that sometimes he's just more valuable. Like, I don't have dupes in mind, so he's not able to crit. He's not able to additional unless we're up against an android's enemy. So anyway, guys, that was just the decision I made, and as you can see, no items necessary when you have the Gohan and Icarus unit. They were also the MVP for sure. But slap a like if you enjoy no item runs. I will definitely continue to do more of them. And then consider subscribing if you're new. I'm bringing you guys content every single day. And I love all you guys. Thank you for your support, and I will catch all of you in the next one. Later.